I think we are live. All right. Yep, I think we are live now. All right, let's go ahead and tell people that. Boop-a-doop-boop-boop-boo. We are live. Tweet. All right. Kill a couple other people here. Oh yeah, the Discord. They'll probably want to. They might want to know. All right. All right, well, no one's here, so let's do some of the grindy work first. Gonna need some Photoshop open. Also, there's the audio. Bring that in here. All right, pulling up Photoshop for this window. All right, looks like we got us a single viewer. No different than last time. Fantastic. All right, well, if you guys are watching, hi. Tell me in the chat if the audio sounds off, and I'll do something to fix that. And Slanesh Priest, hello there. All right, so what we're doing... It's okay. All right, so what we're going to be doing in this session is... I've had an idea for a short I wanted to do, but I was waiting until after I finished my most recent video. So for those who might not have seen, on the YouTube channel, Casual Historian, part of Project Mad, my contribution to that collaboration was a video on the Japanese economic miracle. And what I did was, I made a video about that. And so there's an extra piece of information, a little neat cultural fact that I thought about possibly including in the main video, but I thought, it doesn't really need to be there, but also that this might actually be a really good short. And so my idea is that I can sometimes use like shorts as like footnotes for regular videos. So like I have a couple other shorts in mind as footnotes for like my Holocaust denial videos. And so that's I think is going to be my main usage for shorts. Yeah, and so we're going to be doing that. Now the thing is that the shorts are, like I said, they're so short, just a minute long at most. You don't really know how much, like what's... I find it really hard to storyboard something like that. And so I wrote this script in a few minutes. You know, it only took me like maybe 5 minutes to write this script, and then most of the time was just spent rewriting it so it's short enough to fit in a 60-second video. And so that's what we got here, this audio file. Yeah, so basically what the short is about is something unknown is that in the 1980s, there was this asset bubble in Japan where stocks and especially real estate prices skyrocketed due to lower interest rates. Well, these lower interest rates resulted in a real estate bubble, and the real estate speculators were known for being quite ruthless, making some people lose their homes and whatnot, and so they earned a very negative reputation. And at this time in the 1980s, Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, also was not a fan of these people, and so he created basically like the entire Dragon Ball Z arc, which began, with like the arrival of Raditz, the Saiyans, and then later you go interact with Frieza. That basically the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, or at least the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, was like inspired by the real estate boom of the 1980s in Japan. Yeah, it's something that's really fascinating when you look at it, because so think about it. You have the Saiyans and then Frieza. They conquer planets, wipe out the original inhabitants, and then sell it to the highest bidder. Now, something that the franchise hasn't seemed to answer is who's buying these planets? You have Frieza and his force and all these other people conquering planets and then selling them. So it means that there is a market for buying and selling planets in the Dragon Ball universe, and that's just never been addressed. It's I haven't read the manga for Super, and I know the Super manga has gone past where the anime did. So I don't know if they've taken the time to address this whole basically interplanetary trade stuff, but it's something I would like to see addressed in a Dragon Ball Super thing. So yeah, so that is what this video is about. So I'm making a quick little footnote to the video about one of the cultural influences that the real estate bubble in Japan in the 1980s had on popular culture. So I've got a piece of audio here that I recorded earlier. It's about a minute and it's a little under a minute and a half. We need to cut out 30 seconds from this. A fair amount of this, of course, is just going to be just garbage fluff sounds, but that's part of the whole recording process. So let's start here. Let's hear this. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought of that. All right, so let's start trimming. Now, Slanesh, I will never look at Dragon Ball the same way with the same eyes. Yeah, it is something. Yeah, it's something you realize. So the creation of manga is so outside the realm of our American understanding, or at least we don't really think of it in the same way we think of comics, because we read, it's you read a Marvel or a DC comic, you can see modern issues brought up, but when you read manga, even older manga, you have no context for what these things are commenting about, and so it's a really interesting world there. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. The speculators earned a negative reputation in Japan. Alright, gotta cut there. Boop, 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 boop. A higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved in the real estate industry, and so these speculators earned a negative reputation amongst the Japanese public. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's. This made its way into the manga. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. Japanese public. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. They would invade planets, wipe out their native inhabitants, and then they would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. Planets, wipe out the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. Looks like we got ourselves a second viewer. Welcome to the party. You're going to be watching me edit a short about Frieza and the Japanese real estate bubble of the 1980s. It's a footnote to the Japanese economic miracle video I put out last week as part of Project MAD. Sell them off to the highest bidder. The character of Frieza, who first appeared in chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators. Was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators. One of these speculators. Ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty. Toriyama has referred to this and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. There we are. Bloop. These speculators, ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama has referred to this. Let's see. Oh, looks like another follower, Thomas Atheism Man. Hello there, Thomas. And ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. All right. Looks like we're nearing the end of the audio editing portion. Get what they want. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. All right. And so once we extract that, it looks like the final product will be 41, almost 42 seconds long. All right, that's good. Now comes the part where I don't know exactly what I want to do here. I'm going to need to find some footage of 1980s Japan. I had some for the original video, but, you know, I delete all that stuff after I'm done. So let's see if I can find something here. Let's see. On YouTube. 1980s Japan. Okay, I think I can use some of this footage. Okay, so I found a video here called a Nostalgic Video Japan 80s HD Part 2. So this will be used as some basically stock footage. I would use my usual supplier of stock footage, which is either the Prelinger archive or the or Storyblocks, but unfortunately they don't have something this specific. So yeah, you got to go with what you can find. All right. Snap downloader. Download. All right. Let's give another listen to the main body here. Good evening, Thomas the Atheism Man. Just saw your comment there. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved in the real estate industry, and so these speculators earned a negative reputation amongst the Japanese public. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. The character of Frieza, who first appeared in chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators, ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. Back in the 1980s, there... Alright. Alright, got the B-roll here of 1980s Japan. There we go. We want some nighttime footage. That tends to be the most, I don't know. When I think Japan in the 80s, it's always nighttime. Yep, there we go. All right. Why are you letting us do this? Is that another reason? Okay, there it goes. All right, now. See how that works. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved in the... Alright, let's see. Now I will bring up story blocks because I think I can find something about bribery. Dang it, every single one. Want you to do these send codes shit. It's annoying. Alright. Let's find something for bribery. Okay, that's one possibility. Let me look up Asian businessman. Yeah, nothing nefarious here. Well, I might be able to use some of this, so bloop. Bloop. And bloop, bloop. Alright, wait for those to download. Alright. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption. later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved. Switch to another clip. Asian businessman. The kind of stuff you find when you just type it. It's like, okay, it'll give you close enough, I suppose. In anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved in the real estate industry, and so these speculators earned. Alright, got us a third viewer in. Hello there. Alright, for the newest person who just showed up, I am editing a short for my YouTube channel. It's a footnote to the Japanese economic miracle video where I'll be talking about how the Japanese real estate bubble of the 1980s influenced Dragon Ball Z in the creation of the character of Frieza and basically the entire sort of alien plot lines of Dragon Ball. In the real estate industry, and so these speculators earned a negative reputation among. Alright, see. Crowd of Asian people. That'll work for a representation of Japanese society. Yep, and it's set in Tokyo, so I'm presuming they're Japanese. Don't want to be that white guy that can't tell them apart. Or is at least callous in his inability to tell them apart. Speculators earned a negative reputation amongst the Japanese public. This made its way. Alright, now time for the little more abstract nature. So let me find either footage or pictures of Akira Toriyama. Where are you? Okay, I think I'll go for pictures of Toriyama instead. Let's go to Google. There we go. Alright, alright. See, find higher quality pictures, one that's less blurry. This is part of the boring backside of making YouTube videos. Just a lot of scrolling through Google Images or whatever picture source you're looking for. Especially if you don't do a lot of the storyboarding ahead of time. Maybe Wikipedia's got a picture or two. Not a lot, actually. Surprising. Mm. Alright, well. Yeah. Can't find pictures that are quite high enough pixel resolution, so a potential solution to that is turning that portion of the video into an After Effects portion, because then I can put those videos or put those photos into Illustrator and then export them as vectors, and then they can be enlarged without distorting picture quality. And that might just be what I have to do. And it's looking like that's what I'm going to have to do. Okay. Save a handful of Toriyama pictures. That one. This one here. One more for good measure. All right, open Illustrator. All right, let's play back the audio here. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved in the real estate industry, and so these speculators earned a negative reputation amongst the Japanese public. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. The character of Frieza, who first appeared in chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators, ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. 47 of the manga in 1989 was a cartoonish representation. They would invade planets. Alright, save as. Illustrator file. Save as. Illustrator file. And then save as. Illustrator file. Yes. Alright, import those in here. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and I thought I probably don't need it the whole way. At least I don't need that many Toriyama pictures. Let's see here. find depictions of the Saiyans. What photos do they have? Alright, I might have to do a little more animating than I thought. Okay, not a problem. Raditz. Raditz. Nappa. Good. And Vegeta. Let's see, and I think probably going to follow that up with some clips, so go back to YouTube. See, let's find Ginyu Force. That'll work. Yep, don't need that sound. Alright, how's everyone doing tonight? Alrighty. Go to Sentai. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and yeah, that's more than we're going to get in there. Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. In the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets. And it's times like this where, you know what? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get lazy. Just do the thing. You can find more footage, but you don't want to get too lazy on that front. Let's see. Alright, more footage to download. Now you gotta be playing a playing a game of how much copyrighted footage can you get away with? I don't know how well YouTube is policing the shorts. Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets, wipe out. Let's see. All right. Okay, I think we got that footage. Yep. Okay, good. Show in folder. Import. There we go. All right, we want that bit of footage. Maybe even slightly less than that.
Alien! He's getting out!
No! It can't be!
What do they want?
My neck is killing me. My neck is killing me.
Of course, it's too much. All right. Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets. Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans. Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would. All right, now I can turn the segment into a After Effects composition. go. Let's move that over. Yeah. Now we can grow the picture without losing resolution. Position. Boop a doop doop boo. And do the old Ken Burns where you zoom in slowly on a picture. All right. Oh. Damn it. Go. Now just match some Civil War music in the background. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. This made it... Alright. It wasn't much, but it's the only way to have less distorted pictures. Damn you 1980s, why can't you have better photos? Especially Japanese 1980s. I mean, dear God. It's like, for a country that had such, like, that was so far, like, along in terms of, like, when it comes to, like, production of cameras, there were still a lot of black and white pictures from the 80s in Japan. Like, a lot of them. They would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. What footage to look for? Needs to be something of like either the Saiyans or the Frieza Force conquering a planet. Any recommendations for what particular footage I should use for this bit? I know I got a bit about Frieza coming up, but I have more ideas of what to do there. The character of Frieza, who first appeared in chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators. The character of Frieza, who... Alright, so for that one, I think I need to find some manga pages. So let me look for manga pages. Oh, that's the super manga. Alright, I think part of this will have to do. Save. Bring that into Photoshop. Going down to the final. Export as a PNG because we're going to have to put that in Illustrator because the picture is way too small. Right. There it is. All right. Would invade planets, wipe out. They would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. The character of Frieza, who first appeared in chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a Alright, gotta turn this into an After Effects composition as well. Let's see. Alright. Now rasterize and I can grow the picture up as much as I need. Alright, position. Go. Do a panning shot. I think I'll also scale it up. There we go, you get a better view of Frieza. Alright, that should about do it for that. First appeared in chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators, ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Alright, I know one of the clips I'm going to want to pull up for this. Let's see. Frieza kills Krillin. Here it is. Da 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 da. Oh, so was here Slanesh Priest? Alright, gave me a recommended clip here. Alright, let us find that clip. Alright, well, it's taking a second to buffer, so let me pull up Frieza killing Krillin. There we go. Nope, don't need the audio, just need the footage right there. One of these speculators, ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama ready to play any dirty. Alright. Gonna want to cut that right, yeah, just so I can center both of them. Any dirty trick. They want. And ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama had referred to. All right. Let's check out that footage you recommended. See if that works. For one reason or another, it does not want to play right now, but I can still take the footage into Snap Downloader. All right, almost ready. Well, I don't know if this footage works for the whole conquering and selling planets part, but it definitely works for the other Frieza bit I needed, so that works fantastically. Alright, pan it over so you can see Frieza. Cartoonish representation of one of the speculators. Ruthless violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Alright. I'm gonna have to keep looking for some footage still, but we're nearly there. Planet Canada? Is that what they're trying to call? Some people are calling it. What? Why Canada? Was clearly Kanasa.
Sir, it's the full moon, just like in the vision!
Yes, Demetrius, indeed it is about to begin. This is the hour for which we have prepared.
Yes, Commander!
Yep, that's the footage I needed. Fantastic. Alright, it's going to take a minute for it to download, so let's rewatch this from the beginning. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved in the real estate industry, and so these speculators earned a negative reputation amongst the Japanese public. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. The character of Frieza, who first appeared in Chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators, ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. Alright, well I think I actually have a use for one of those extra Toriyama pictures I got in. Let's see, did I import them all? I did not, I think. I didn't, okay. Pull up the thing. There's the one. No, that's not the one. Oh, there it is. Hopefully. That's it. That's the one I wanted. Alright, one last After Effects composition. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. Why is it on Times New? Oh yeah, that's right. I had to re-download everything today. Let's see. Where is the good old impact font? The easiest to see, even if it's just the worst to look at. Nope, not where I wanted that. Put that rectangle over the text. Invert. Ready to animate. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. All right, that good there. And I think, yep, the footage we were waiting for is done. There we go, exactly what we needed. Nope, don't want that. Larger. And edit over a bit. We would bait planets, wipe out the native habits, and then sell them off the highest. There. You character free. Alright, I think that's about done, except for background music. Let's give this one last check. Back in the 1980s, there was a real estate boom in Japan fueled by low interest rates. Speculators bought up large quantities of property in anticipation of being able to sell them for a higher price later. There was a lot of bribery and corruption involved in the real estate industry, and so these speculators earned a negative reputation amongst the Japanese public. This made its way into Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z in the form of the Saiyans and the Frieza Force. They would invade planets, wipe out the native inhabitants, and then sell them off to the highest bidder. The character of Frieza, who first appeared in Chapter 247 of the manga in 1989, was a cartoonish representation of one of these speculators, ruthlessly violent and ready to play any dirty trick to get what they want. Toriyama had referred to these speculators as the worst kind of people. All right. Good, good, good. Now, need to find some kind of background music, or maybe not, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to leave the background music for another time. And I think I'm about done with the video. Yeah, these are, they don't take very long to make. The only problem with shorts, according to most creators I've talked with that do them, is that they just don't perform super well. You know, it's like when you have an algorithm that's designed to promote videos that are like a minute plus long, and there's this whole phenomena known as negative view velocity. Basically, like one of the shitty things about creating content on YouTube is that if a video performs poorly, that can impact the performance of future videos. Because like, so if a creator uploads a video, but say...
Here's something I found on the web. According to TheVerge.com, you have to be the first person to upload the video to be considered the original creator by the tool. So there's the possibility that someone else copies you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Alexa, for some reason, was talking. I don't recall saying the name. Anyways, yeah, so if a video performs poorly, that tells the algorithm that, oh, people, not even this creator's own subscribers want to watch their video, and so we're not going to show their video to non-subscribers. And so a poorly performing video can hurt a channel, and too many poorly performing videos in a row can definitely harm a channel and give what's called a negative view velocity, where basically a video performs poorly, which causes the next video to perform poorly, which then causes the next video to perform poorly, and so on and so forth. This is why you want to avoid experimenting too much, or at least too much in a row. It's like if you have a video idea that you think isn't going to do too well, then you probably want to sandwich it between two other videos that you think are probably going to do pretty well. And so that's the reason why I would advise for any channels doing shorts, don't do multiple shorts in a row. Shorts should be interspersed with regular length videos. Unless you have a channel that's entirely dedicated to shorts, don't do multiple shorts in a row. But yeah, I think that about does it for now. I'll be doing the music stuff on my own. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this stream, and I'll hopefully do this again sometime. So, good night and stopping stream.